Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we have some municipal news updates, including information from city departments and news happening in and around Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, February 14th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our City Manager, Mark Roloff. Mark, thank you for joining us today on the show.
Great to be here, Andy.
Okay, well, we have a lot of different topics to cover today, so we'll dive right into it. I know that we've talked before on this program about shared revenue, and that's the funding that the city receives from the state. And it looks like there might be some new funding mechanism that's being looked at the state level.
Well, it's state budget time, and so in advance of that, I've been working with a committee with the League of Wisconsin Municipalities, of which the city's a member. That also includes the Wisconsin Towns Association and the Wisconsin Counties Association to take a look at this, because the system of funding local government in Wisconsin is really broken, and it's resulted in us over-relying on property taxes. So this graphic that I cart all over the place is showing how state revenues have been going up, and this is just a snapshot of like a 15-year period. But look at the blue line there, state shared revenue that is given back to cities has been going down or frozen, while state revenues have been going up pretty steadily over that period of time. And for example, sales tax revenue this year alone is probably going to increase by 8 to 10% for the state of Wisconsin, and we're getting a zero increase in state shared revenue. So what happens at the city? We turn to property taxes. So we have been making this case, and as of late, we've been approaching the state legislative leaders, because they're the ones who ultimately adopt the state budget. And they've been more receptive. I think they've heard it from enough people, and we've been well received with that discussion with the Speaker of the Assembly as well as other legislative leaders. And then, more recently in the State of the State address, the governor also mentioned this same concept. And what it is about taking what already exists in the sales tax, and it's a 5-cent sales tax statewide. All we're asking for is 1 penny of that for all local governments throughout the state. It's a very reasonable request. It's very common in other states throughout the country, and we're getting attention. And the fact that I'm saying we're just getting attention is a huge improvement. But it seems as though it's getting bipartisan type of support. It's coming from two different angles, but it's generally being acknowledged that local government funding needs to get fixed, and the fact that the legislative branch and the executive branch are both recognizing it and would like to do something about it, I think is very hopeful for us. So I'm going to cross my fingers and still tell the story, keep showing that type of graphic that says, cities, counties, towns, villages are not getting their fair share of the revenue growth that we help create at the local level. All the economic development work we do, and we're not reaping the benefits of that. And those local revenues, local governments, they provide police, fire, streets, all the basic services that you and I come to appreciate. So
it all originates at the local level.
Yeah, and so what we're looking for is, as sales tax grows, which the graphic clearly shows that, shouldn't we also share in that? They called it shared revenue for years, didn't do a very good job of sharing. What we're saying is, the system's broken, let's fix it. This is the first step, and I'm really encouraged that we've heard from both legislative leaders as well as executive leaders that they're willing to look at it.
So this would be 1% of the 5% sales tax.
Right. You hear a lot about, we need to increase the sales tax. It's like, just give us a cut of what already exists.
Right.
And that will certainly get us a lot further along to help control property taxes, because our property taxes are amongst the highest in the whole nation. Meanwhile, our sales tax is one of the lowest in the country. So there's got to be some balancing out of this, and I think there's a recognition now that the things that we've been talking about bear some review, and the fact that we're finally looking at it at the state level is very encouraging for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's great to see our state's top leaders working together collaboratively with our communities, and this will build a stronger state down the road.
Oh, absolutely, because this is going to fund things like infrastructure, public safety, and quality of life services like our parks, library, public museum, all those types of things. So we're excited that we may be making some progress.
Okay, excellent. Well, we'll stay tuned. All right, another exciting point that we wanted to mention is that the campaign that's called Taking Route 2, which is designed to replace a lot of the terrace trees that were lost in the city, they have reached their funding goal of $300,000. This is great news.
Oh, it's wonderful news. There's been a lot of media coverage locally about the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation celebrating their 95th anniversary. And what a way to do it with, keep doing what they've been doing for years and providing some great program. So they raised $300,000 to get this, to replace trees that were removed because of the emerald ash borer. So we're so happy that they were able to do it. And this video is just some examples of areas that have just been devastated. This damage has been going on throughout the city. A lot of trees getting removed, and we got to reforest our urban forest, and this is going to be one way to do it. And so thank you so much to the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation for doing this.
Mm-hmm. And as these trees are replaced, they're doing it in a smart manner so that there will be at least 10 different species of trees that are planted around the city. And not only different species, but planted at different intervals in time, so they're not all the same age.
Yeah, we want to lessen the impact because we have so many ash trees in town, and you get something that hits one species, which is something we can't necessarily control. The more species we have, the more diverse our urban forest is. When something like this happens, and it will happen again, unfortunately, it'll minimize the devastation that we've experienced now. A little more diverse forest will mean less damage when one of these types of invasive pests come in and do damage to our trees.
Mm-hmm. And residents can contact the city's forestry department in the Parks Department area office if they would like to request a terrace tree and go from there. So exciting news there. We also wanted to mention about the Oshkosh Public Museum that they have some changes coming up. They are going to be transforming their second floor display areas. Some of the favorite areas will be moved along, but we have some new display space that is soon to come.
Well, a lot of things that have been there for a long time and maybe have stayed a little too long, but the Memories and Dreams area, which includes Grandma's Attic, the Pioneer Log Cabin, and other sections, they're going to be closing on April 3rd. But once that second floor is removed, then we're going to put in, that's where our traveling exhibitions will be located in an area that will be much easier to get items in and out, and so it'll be a much greater experience for our exhibitions, which will be greater for staff and for the visiting members of the public who visit the museum.
Mm-hmm. And really the plans for this have been underway since 2018 with some of the other exhibits that have already opened.
And the new flexible exhibition space will be unveiled in 2024. That'll be exciting because we're celebrating the museum's 100th anniversary coming up. So what a great way to celebrate our 100th anniversary than some brand new exhibition space.
Perfect timing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, then we also wanted to note that the spring primary election is coming up on Tuesday, February 21st, and the in-person absentee voting is currently available at the city clerk's office in City Hall, and that's available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 until Friday, February 17th.
Yeah, and then of course the polls will be open on February 21st from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you can also do, you can request a ballot by mail or do it through myvote.wi.gov. We'll mail you a ballot. You can fill it out in the privacy of your home and return it. But please know that you cannot drop it off in front of City Hall at our drop box. That's no longer allowed under the law. You must return it to the clerk's office in person or through the U.S. mail. So please remember that as you do that, because we want to make sure that your vote counts.
And the city clerk's office is very happy to help out and answer any of your questions at any time. So you can reach out to them for any questions, or myvote.wi.gov for all the details. Okay, also we wanted to make mention that the residential water service survey is underway, and this is an inspection of properties in the city to verify what water service lines are coming into properties, and all residents are encouraged to participate if they've been notified that they should participate.
Right, the state DNR, which regulates a lot of what we do, wants to make sure that properties that are at risk, and generally older properties that have a danger of having lead pipes, we want to make sure that we test and make sure that you don't have any contamination. So the staff person will be looking for the type of water lateral you have. In addition to looking for problems where what's called cross connects that can be that between drinking water and where contaminated water might get into your house. We want to make sure that doesn't happen, because we don't want it to happen. I mean, you hear the horror stories about what happened in Flint, Michigan and Jackson, Mississippi. We don't want that here. So if you have an older house, I'd say pre-1960, more in the central area of the city, chances are you've gotten one of these surveys. Please give us a call and schedule somebody to come in. It really is to protect you and your family.
And really, these visits only last about 30 minutes or less. So it's just a brief visit. They take care of what they have to check, and they're out of your home. But as you mentioned, these visits are required by the DNR, and these are also happening statewide. It's not just an Oshkosh thing.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that people, to protect themselves, you shouldn't let anybody in your house if they don't have a city identification. Right. So if somebody shows up, just say no, it's okay. And if it happens to be us and we didn't bring our ID, we should have brought our ID. So there's no reason to have an excuse. Our folks know that they have to have that ID. We don't want anybody getting tricked for anything. We don't have any reports of it right now, but we want to protect you, and you want to protect your property, and that's totally understandable.
And a pamphlet about the survey and all the information about what's involved with this is available through the Hot Topics section on the city's website, so you can get some more information right there. So be looking for that. Okay. We also wanted to make mention that the Forestry Division has started their annual tree pruning cycle, and so they will be mainly on the northeast side of the city doing some tree pruning.
Yeah, and this is these are the trees that are not the emerald ash borer that we just do periodic trimming to make sure that they don't hang too much over the street or too much over the sidewalk. Just clean it up, and it doesn't take long for them. They'll get through your neighborhood in no time flat. If you're working during the day, you probably won't even notice it until you get home that night and see it's gone. But just know that they're out there. But it's going to be east and north of the Fox River and south of New York Avenue, and that's generally where you're going to see them this winter.
Okay. And then also we want to make mention that Go Transit will be stopping at the Winter Farmers Market with a bus stop, a special bus stop on some dates coming up when they have the Winter's Farmers Market.
Yeah, if you want to go down over to the arena for the Farmers Market, Route 8, we've made a slight little change in the route that doesn't affect the delivery times of everybody, and it'll be available 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on the dates shown there that are when the Winter's Farmer Market is in operation. So we're happy to do that to keep encouraging the Winter Farmers Market. We think it's great, and take a look at the dates, and hope you can attend the Farmers Market, and if we can get you there through Go Transit, we're happy to do that.
And ridegotransit.com for all the details on that and additional information about using Go Transit. Okay, then also another exciting, speaking of winter, the winter skating is open at Menominee Park Zoo's Lagoon, weather permitting, but that is open Saturdays and Sundays.
It's been holding up very well. great response from the community, so I hope you're enjoying it. And we're using the Lakefly Cafe over at the zoo as a warming shelter. And thank you so much to Dr. Eric's Skate Club. Free skate rentals will be available when we're open for this. So some great things going on. And in addition, the International Youth Sailing Club also provides free cross-country ski rentals, and that'll be on February 18th and 19th. So if the snow's good at Menominee Park and you'd rather cross-country ski than skate, you can do that as well.
Mm-hmm. And this is scheduled to be open through February 19th. I was told that they may extend that past that date, but keep an eye on the Parks Department Facebook page and the city's website for additional information as this develops. But encourage folks to take advantage of that. Another thing we'd like to encourage folks to take advantage of is the State of the City program, Oshkosh State of the City 2023. That is coming up on Monday, March 13th.
We're back and alive in person. We're so excited about it, and that's why the theme this year is re-engaging with the community. Because we've been apart for so long with COVID pandemic and things like that, we are so happy to be able to open the doors and tell you about what's planned for 2023 in Oshkosh. So re-engaging, that's our theme. And again, it is Monday, March 13th, 6 p.m. We've been doing some surveying. Go to our Polko link and just looking for ideas on what you'd like me to cover at State of the City. And you never know, I might include something you said from the survey in this.
And that link can be accessed through the Hot Topics on the city's website, so you can check that out. And the City Exhibit Expo will be there. Department heads from different city departments will be there and happy to talk to you. This is a free event open to the public, so March 13th, we encourage everyone to attend. Okay, Mark, I believe that takes us to our break time here. And we have some information about your chance to meet Miss America at the Oshkosh Public Museum. So we'll be back right after this short break.
Hi everyone, it's Carmen. If you want to know all about the nuts and bolts of voting in Wisconsin, talking about registration, absentee voting, election security, and more, I'll walk you through it and we'll get there together. Go to elections.wi.gov/101 to find videos and other information to help you learn more about the election process. Elections 101 is your basic how-to guide for voting in Wisconsin. See you there.
And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming Tuesday, February 14th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting. So Mark, we have several different items here that we'd like to talk about. We're looking at the consent agenda, and there's an item for a bid and public works contract for some concrete sidewalk. And I understand that the costs have really gone up for sidewalks this year.
Yeah, they sure have. Getting concrete is a very tough thing to do right now. The price that we got back from the contractor is a 34% increase over the previous year. So that's really going to draw attention to people who are special assessed for this. And the council's asked me to take a look at special assessments, but whether you pay it or the city pays it, 34% is still 34%. In addition, our costs for sidewalk from 2017 have actually more than doubled. So this is just one of many hits we've had to take. So something we're going to have to take a strong look at. But you know, we have a rotation to get sidewalks replaced throughout the city. We can't really get away from that, but the cost is certainly something that is going to draw a lot of concern and attention.
Okay. Well, we just want to get the word out there that that's one of those items that the cost has gone up. We have another item for architectural services, and this is for the police department's storage facility renovation.
It is, but I think the story really needs to be told is that we have a facility over on Sawyer Avenue that is currently being used for storage for a lot of different departments. That's the site we've identified for our fire training facility. We have that training tower over there right now, but we want to eventually make that just completely dedicated to fire safety training, which means we have to displace a lot of different departments, including the police department. So we want to do a storage of some police vehicles as well as our impound yard and other storage. We're going to do over that on 3rd Avenue, and this is the first step in getting that facility redone over there on 3rd Avenue for police. But then we have to look at another facility for our public museum storage as well as our city clerk storage. So we'll be working on this throughout the year, but it's all about leading up to getting the fire department's area taken care of.
Okay, kind of shuffling things around a little bit to make it all work.
Yep.
Okay. Well, under new ordinances, we have a zone change approval that we're looking at, and this is over on the north side of West 20th Avenue, over by the West Side YMCA.
Yes, it's directly across from the West Side YMCA, and it should be pointed out this area has been zoned multifamily for a number of years because of its access on 20th Avenue, but it's only recently gotten attention for it. Some of the neighbors did come and express some concerns to the Plan Commission. What really triggered it is that the proposed development is proposing a possible coffee shop within this multifamily complex, which triggers another rezoning to a planned development. But this technically is currently allowed in our current code, but the coffee shop did trigger the discussion, and I think a lot of people never realize that this has been multifamily zone for years, but it's going to draw some attention, and there's some concerns about multifamily conflicting with single family over there, but it's something that's been in our planning documents for many, many years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, just wanted to clarify and bring attention to that one. Okay, then also under new ordinances, we have an item relating to the regulation of beer gardens. What can you tell us about that one?
Well, one of the things that we find out is you get a new changeover in staff, new staff starts asking questions, and our clerk's office has been issuing a lot of the beer garden licenses and brought up some really good questions to the attention of myself and the city attorney, and we realized we're doing some things inconsistently. So what we're trying to do is clean this up so that there's a uniform way to get beer garden licenses approved, and to, in some cases, make it easier and remove some of the regulations that have been there for years and just need to go away. Mm-hmm. I know anytime you talk about change, people get a little freaky. I don't think this is one of those. But it also recognizes there are certain thresholds. For example, if you're going to have live music outside, that changes, especially when you're next to a residential area. There are certain areas of the city, downtown, say the Best Western Hotel, and a little further upriver, you have Fox River Brewing that have outdoor facilities, but they were designed for that. These are areas that are literally right next door to single-family homes, and they want outside music. There's certain procedures that need to follow out of courtesy to the residents, and I know that a lot of our mom and pop bars, they want to be able to be competitive, but we have to make sure that things are balanced out. And what we're doing is creating those thresholds, live music, more than 75 people, those types of things. If they're going to be outside, we have to make sure that we have some semblance of order for that. We relaxed the rules during COVID, and now we're saying, okay, before we get back to the old rules, let's clean it up a little bit.
Okay. Trying to find some balance with all of it.
It really is a matter of balancing, but I think we're going to be okay. And we've shared the information with some of the bars, and there's a little bit of concern, but for the most part, it's really not going to be much of a difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Then also on the agenda, new resolutions. We have an item, creation of an ad hoc committee to solicit input on the city's clear wells replacement project and the aesthetic features of the project.
Right. You may recall that the council did approve some changes to how the clear wells, the above ground clear wells are going to look, but there was some concern expressed about aesthetics and things like that, and we pledged as staff to work with a citizens group to do that. So where this resolution just says we're going to create this committee, and over the next 6 months, it's just an ad hoc committee, get some input before we start putting final designs together to get this done. So these are a few examples of what the site looks like right now. We can't do a lot, but we need creative solutions on what we can do. So hopefully we'll get some great input from the public and be able to keep this project moving forward.
Okay, very good, and we'll stay tuned on that one as well. All right, also we are looking at an approval of installation of new sidewalk, and this is Bauman Street and also over at Buchanan Avenue.
Right. Well, there's some project going on over there this year along Coolidge Street and just around the corner from Bauman Street. But one of the issues is whenever we have an area that does not have sidewalk and we have an opportunity to put it in, it's called ordered sidewalk because the idea is in residential areas to get sidewalks on both sides of the street, especially when you're leading up to a park. And Bauman Park is on the north end of this area. So we have staff have an obligation to bring these forward and put sidewalk in there. Now I know some of the residents don't want sidewalk in there, and I absolutely respect their opinion on that. But we have an obligation to bring these forward, especially when we can get it done more cost effectively. And you just heard me talk about how prices of sidewalk are going up. When prices of sidewalk are going up, we want to do it in the most cost effective manner. We're doing some street work over there. They're going to be pouring concrete over there anyway. If they're going to do it, this is our opportunity to get it done in a more cost effective manner. So that's why we're suggesting that we do that right now.
Okay, very good. And that's another one that we will stay tuned and pass along some updates on the progress. Okay, also under new resolutions, we have an item that relates to, this is over by the Convention Center and Hotel.
Yes, well, we've been informed that the Best Western Premier Hotel, which we've had a wonderful relationship, working relationship, great for the economy, great for downtown, great for the community. They have a potential buyer for the hotel. And so when that happens, we have multiple agreements with the Best Western Premier, the group that owns the Best Western Premier. And again, they've been wonderful to work with, but we have 3 agreements. One of them is the development agreement for the tax increment financing district that provided incentives for them. And we have not fulfilled all of our obligations under that agreement, which means, short way of saying, we owe money. Okay. And the TIF's doing well enough to get that done, but we spent a lot of money up front getting the Riverwalk done, and that seawall over there was really expensive. So we had to pay those things off first before we could start paying the hotel. Well, now that they're selling, we have to make sure that if this sale goes through, that we keep our end of the bargain, as it were. So that's part of it, is that development agreement. Then secondly, the hotel manages the convention center for us. And again, great relationship, but we have to redefine our obligations under the agreement. And we have some responsibilities to maintain the convention center. Part of the room tax that gets generated right at the hotel goes right back into the convention center. They're asking for some multiple extensions that would be mutually agreeable, that they would be able to extend this agreement for as long as 50 years. And as long as we are generating room tax that covers the improvements for that, I'm certainly willing to do that. So there's something with that. And then finally, the garage next door is a very complicated situation, but the hotel does collect some money for each room night, and it goes into a special fund to take care of the improvements over there. Technically, it's considered a public garage, but obviously the hotel uses it, and eventually it'll all go to them. But in the short run, we maintain it on their behalf using the funds that they generate. All these complicated things have to get taken care of. The group that is proposed to be sold to is called the Scarlet Hotel Group. They're a group out of Chicago. They own hotels Midwest in the South, and now they're looking to expand into Wisconsin with this hotel. We're real excited about that possibility, and so we're looking forward to working with them.
And we'll keep an eye on that one too as it develops. It sounds like there's a lot that has to happen.
Yeah, before the sale is ultimately approved, but this is one of the hurdles that have to be done. So hopefully we get it all done.
Okay, excellent. Well, Mark, once again, thanks for all your insights today. We appreciate all your valuable input.
It's always a pleasure, Andy. Thanks.
Okay, and thank you as well. Thank you for joining us today. Again, that Common Council meeting is at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, February 14th at City Hall, 215 Church Avenue. You can watch that live on GovTV, Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or, as usual, you can listen to it on the radio, which is Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. So again, join us in 2 weeks for another City Managers Report. Thanks for watching.